Hello and welcome back to another episode of Soo The Milwaukee Road. What we're going to cover today is a pair of Athearn Genesis SDP45 programming the Tsunami sound decoders. I've had an issue with them using JMRI through my PR3, and a number of individuals noted that when it's on the program track, the Tsunami decoders require an ample amount of power, so I need to get a power booster for the program track. I think it's something 100, a PRT or PT 100. Tsunami makes it, and you're able to use that to help assist with their decoders as well as other locomotives that might be sucking power. I'm also going to cover just a little bit of the CV speed table and what I do to sync up locomotives to get them to run a little bit better. I'll get a little bit more in depth on the speed table and syncing locomotives in another episode, but for this one we'll touch briefly on what it is exactly that we'll dive into. Alright, so here we are looking at the CVs. The ones that we're going to address are obviously going to be acceleration, braking, and I'll show you, we'll plug those in here real quick. Go to program. I'm on address 3, that's the default. Both locomotives are on address 3, so we can do them both at the same time. I'm going to set this one here. This is the acceleration. I'm going to set it to 5. Default is 0, which actually I'll give you a look at quickly. This is default. You can see how they just rapidly make that switch back and forth. Okay, and what we're going to do is enter in, like I showed you before, so I'm going to go to CV3. We're going to set it to 5. And when you do, you notice the locomotives, I'm going to hit enter. They lurch just slightly. And that allows you to know that the CV has been accepted. So 5, enter. So both the acceleration and deceleration have been programmed. Alright, now that we have the acceleration and braking set, we're going to slide over to the speed table. The speed table, if you don't know it or are unfamiliar with it, it's a fantastic tool to be able to use to set your locomotive's speed so they can match up with other manufacturers from Atlas to Kato to Proto to Athearn Genesis. Here we're just going to really do a basic version. I'll do a later episode that covers how to speed match a number of different locomotives. But here we want to look at forward trim, the speed table itself, and reverse trim. Reverse trim is the speed of the locomotive going in reverse. If it's going a little bit faster than what the same locomotive would be in the forward direction, I'm able to back that down just slightly, down to 125 or 126, and that will better sync up with the locomotive when it's moving in the forward direction. Now I use an AccuTrack speedometer that does scale miles an hour in HO, and I'll show you that here briefly when we run the SDP45s through it. But the speed curve itself, what we have here is on the speed table, is how to set the low end up to the high end. And for today, we're going to concern ourselves with the low to the high, and I'll program all these individually, but not on video. It would take forever. So let's take a look at the AccuTrack speedometer, and we'll get a better idea on how to set the locomotive speeds. Alright, we're going to use the AccuTrack speedometer and get the scale mile per hour for the locomotives. I've ran the two SDP45s down the end of the railroad here, and we're going to run it by and get the scale miles an hour to start programming the CVs accordingly. So we take the speed, go up to full speed, here they come, and we'll get the miles per hour here. .66. So we're going to go to our CVs. Alright, so I made adjustments to the speed table. I left all the CVs just as they are, default, but I did just drop the forward trim down to 82, and I actually dropped the reverse trim down to 83, so they're fairly close, running the same speed in both directions. So I got 60 miles an hour each way on the top end, and then at mid-range at 49 on the throttle, it would be 40 miles an hour. So what I've got here is just give you a quick look. I got both of the units sitting down the track. We're going to fire it up to 99, and we're going to get our reading here. It's going to be 61 miles an hour roughly. 59, so just a little under. And I just, on all locomotives within, about a mile an hour of that 60, 59, or 61. And the changes that I made to get the CVs to work, and I note this in my manual here, is that I changed CV 29 to 24 because I add 16 to the current default 6. Now note that the address is still 3. That number will change if you change your address to an extended address. Now CV 25, speed table select, is also set to 16. And that's for a user speed table. If you can't read my chicken scratch, it says user speed table, CV at 16. So that's what I did for the changes on that to be able to get the speed table to work. If you have any complications in regards to that. Alright, so I'm going to individually program the addresses on these and we'll be good to go. But that's all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and here they go in sync.